So I am off to get my hair done, off to the hairdressers. It's Tuesday, I've got the day off, day of rest to relax following my little holiday, and I will be testing out this, and this is Tom Ford Eau de Soleil Blanc, Eau de Soleil Blanc, which is the Eau de Toilette version of the original Soleil Blanc. This is a decant 10ml that I bought from Fragrance Samples UK. Really convenient because I couldn't get a sample or a decant of this for love nor money elsewhere, and actually really impressed. Really good price. I think it's about £22 for 10ml, which is not bad at all. So it's supposed to be the lighter version of Soleil Blanc, less rich, less sweet, more citrus, more fresh. But what I'll be doing is doing a side-by-side with the original Soleil Blanc. For now, I will just tell you briefly what it smells like. My first impressions, really. I have smelled it in a shop a couple of times, but first time properly wearing it on skin. What I noticed straight away, from my memory of what Soleil Blanc smells like, this is definitely more citrusy in the opening, much more citrusy, much more zesty. There is still the sweetness of the amber and the vanilla and the florals, but they are not as rich and not as strong in comparison to the citruses. So it is definitely very much like the original Soleil Blanc. If you like that and you think you'd prefer a lighter version, this is potentially worth checking out. But I haven't properly tested longevity yet, and that is my main concern. I'm pretty confident I'm going to love the way this one smells all the way through. I might even prefer it. Let's find out. Okay, that's all for now. I have to get my hair done, and I might even show you how it looks when it's done. So here's the new hair. Just got some extra blonde bits in there, and the hairdresser Santino has styled it curly, which is my normal look anyway, rather than straight. Normally every time I go to the hairdressers he drives it straight for me, but the weather's crap, it's raining, I didn't bring an umbrella, and it's as soon as my straight hair gets any moisture in it, it goes all horrible and curly. So decided just to go curly, and then I'm not worrying about getting it all messed up straight away as soon as I step out. So that's the hair. Now the fragrance. So Soleil Blanc, Eau de Soleil Blanc. So I'm still getting light wafts from it, and we are about 4 hours into the wearing now. It definitely does feel lighter and less strong than the Eau de Parfum, as you would expect. But as I move around, I get my little wafts, and it is very similar to the original Eau de Parfum, but definitely the citruses are more prominent from the opening, and I would say the citruses hang around a lot longer or are more noticeable throughout the whole wearing of the fragrance from what I'm experiencing so far. The vanilla that you get from the original Eau de Parfum is much less prominent, although it is definitely still there. So all in all, I think if you like one, you are absolutely going to like the other one. The only question at the moment really is performance. So far performance seems to be okay, but I think for me to give a proper verdict, I need to test it for longer and more often. Morning, so today I'm testing Eau de Soleil Blanc again because I didn't feel I had long enough when I last tested it the other day. So what I'm going to do is wear that Eau de Soleil Blanc as my main fragrance, and I'm going to do some of that on one arm and then some of the original from that decant, so that is Soleil Blanc, the Eau de Parfum. I'll do that on the other arm, and I'll test them side by side, see how they go, see what differences I notice, plus also in general test the longevity and the projection of Eau de Soleil Blanc to see whether I think it's worthwhile buying. So far I'm liking it quite a lot, but I haven't made my mind up which one I prefer, so let's see how that goes. Hiya, so these are my final thoughts on Soleil Blanc versus Eau de Soleil Blanc. So from now on I will call Eau de Soleil Blanc Eau de Toilette and the original the Eau de Parfum, to save my words, save my effort. So here we are, it's now 2 p.m. I've been wearing the fragrance since 7:30 this morning, so we are on the 6th hour. And don't see the doggies. Got some doggies running around in the park here. Sorry for my shiny forehead. Could do with a bit of powder. Makeup. Oh. So, here's my final thoughts. The original Soleil Blanc to me is very much a vanilla centric fragrance. Vanilla is prominent from start to finish. Sorry, got a bug on my hand. You get the suntan lotion smell, you've got a note of pistachio, which I wouldn't say I necessarily understand the pistachio note, but what I get is a creamy coconut, vanilla, slightly spiced, custardy smell with the suntan lotion. And there's benzoin in there, but it's, to my nose, quite underplayed, not that obvious. Probably just adds a touch of interest, a little extra layer that you barely detect. Now when it comes to the eau de toilette, I get much more citruses in the opening, and in the notes there are more citrusy type notes than the original EDP, and you definitely do get a ton more citrusiness from the opening, and that citrus element does last all the way through, whereas the citruses in Soleil Blanc are fairly short-lived. I get lime from this. Now it's not listed as a note, but the eau de toilette for a brief period does give me a lime feel. I watched Carlos and Tiff Benson review this. They did it months ago, but I just watched the video, and Tiff mentions Virgin Island water. She feels there is a similarity, and I agree with her. You've got coconut and lime in there. It's much more watery, ethereal scent, and it definitely does kind of remind me a little bit of Virgin Island water, but it does change quite quickly, and it actually on my skin changes to something a little bit like Mandarino d'Amalfi from Tom Ford. I feel like I can smell mandarins with an aquatic note, but all the while still the coconut, the creamy lactonic notes as well, but they are much less in the forefront. They are not as dominant as in the original EDP. So basically I definitely get an aquatic feel from Eau de Soleil Blanc, but that doesn't last too long either. It kind of then transcends into just a lighter version of the original EDP, but with the citruses in there. I would say now we're on hour 6, it would be my time to reapply. It is still present, it is a skin scent. If I really try, I can get light wafts from where I sprayed it here, and it has clung to me here much better than on my arm. For some reason it's not lasting brilliantly well on my arm. It is still present, very light, but on my body I can waft up and smell a little bit, but it might have stuck to my clothes, which would help. Sorry about the wind. So that's really it in comparing the two. Which one do I prefer? Which one am I likely to buy a full bottle of, if either? I'm not sure. Actually, I think you could own both legitimately without feeling bad about it. The original to me is more a scent I would reach for in cooler weather, because it's quite rich and sweet, and I wouldn't be that comfortable wearing it in real hot sun, because actually it's probably going to get a bit cloying. Now the other one I think you could comfortably wear all year round, the eau de toilette, but it lends itself more to the warmer weather with the aquatic note, that sea breeze element, and the lighter citruses. I also did note in the EDT, I felt there was a tropical feel to the fruits in there. So there's various citrus notes, including petitgrain, there's bergamot. I'll probably list all the notes on the screen at various points, but I felt like there was tropical fruits in the EDT. It reminded me a little bit of Southwater from Lily Bermuda, if you know that one. It's a very transparent, watery, tropical fruit with coconut smell. Quite light, it is a cologne. It did remind me of that as well. So I hope that gives you an idea of which one you might prefer. And I think based on the price point, the eau de toilette being much cheaper than the eau de parfum, I'm inclined to buy a bottle of the eau de toilette because it still gives me what I want from the original, but much cheaper and a bit lighter and a little bit more versatile, I guess, well, certainly more usable in the hotter weather. So I think if an opportunity to purchase the Eau de Soleil Blanc comes up, especially if it's discounted, then I'll probably go for that one, but that's just me. If you really like your fragrances to be rich and sweet, then you might prefer to stick to the original. That's me. I'm out. See you in the next video.